So, it's been a while, but today's review is a Patreon request by one Sophie Bergers. And since Halloween is right around the corner, I've got a real spooky request. And it's a show that you may or may not have heard of, Moeville Mysteries. Moeville Mysteries is a Canadian horror sci-fi cartoon that follows the weird and often creepy craziness of Mosley Moeville, aka Mo, voiced by Frankie Muniz of Malcolm in the Middle fame. He's a conspiracy theorist junkie who likes tracking down all the supernatural happenings that occur in his town of Ouija Falls. He's joined by his two friends, 90s skateboard pothead Tommy Hitchcock, and nerdy but sound-minded Mimi Valentine, voiced by Tara Spencer-Name. The show debuted in September of 2002, but only lasted 26 episodes and was canceled in May of 2003. Today we're going to be looking at the first episode, Raiders of the Lost Jockstrap. Got ghosts and goblins in your neighborhood? Let's go to Mo for the results. Mo! So the intro gives us a detailed look at some of the supernatural things that occur in this show, all set to some spooky, upbeat 90s surfer music, and while it's well animated and does showcase the weirdness of the show, it can be a bit clustered in parts. Still, not a bad intro.
Here's where it gets weird.
So the episode begins at Ouija Falls, Lone Pine High School. It's right next door to the Lone Pine Mall where that kid disappeared in a DeLorean. Inside the auditorium, we see our titular character Mo, and, yeah.
This is big brain time.
Well, with a conspiracy theorist, can you expect anything small-headed? So Mo is with his friends Hitch and Mimi at a pep rally for their failing high school football team, the Slugs.
It's time once again to celebrate our fine sporting tradition.
Fine tradition of losing, that is. No school team has won a single game for as far back as anyone can remember.
Give me an F! Give me an F! Give me a U! Give me a D!
So they're basically the high school equivalent of the New York Giants. Welcome to Daniel Jonestown, boys. Now, as far as animation goes, we get a mismatch of different designs that kind of remind me of other cartoons. Between the twisted backgrounds and the character designs, it's like if you took Doug and, as told by Ginger, put them in a blender and fed them to real monsters. And speaking of big heads, check out this gizzard bastard. His dopamine must be at such dangerous levels that he makes Alex Jones look sane. So what's his beef?
Tell your brother he's roadkill if I ever find him. Brother, I don't have a... I'm down with the roadkill, Mr. Large and in charge. I'll give him the 411 just as soon as I see him.
You wouldn't hit a dude in a dress, would you? Cut to Mo, Hitch, and Mimi at the library trying to research what they can bring to the pep rally for school pride. Turns out before their legacy of failure began, Lone Pine High was a thriving sports powerhouse, winning multiple championships over 3 years. And it was all thanks to one player, Jimbo Crazy Legs Walker.
The Slugs were champions in football, volleyball, basketball, even cow milking, and log hewing.
You're kidding, he looks like a total wimp. My granny could take him.
He was captain of every single team. He scored every single basket and every single touchdown.
Milked every single cow?
But did he ever win a golden dumpster? Oh, jeez. Was wondering where that old sandwich went to. So this crazy legs dude was carrying the entire school because the rest of his team was so talentless that they weren't even worth a damn. Now I know how Peppermint Patty feels. But what was the key to Crazy Legs' success? What made him so talented?
Steroids. Black magic? Radiation leak. Alien abductions.
Nope, it was his lucky jockstrap. That's right, A men's sports thong is the key to going from Smith to Mahomes in an instant. Unfortunately, the dude's been dead for years, so it's up to our ghastly trio to desecrate his grave and retrieve the magical undergarment. What could possibly go wrong?
Here lies Jimbo Crazy Legs Walker. I'm number 1.
Lies! Everyone knows Smitty Werbin Man Jenkins was the real number 1, thank you very much. So they make it to Crazy Legs' tomb, which happens to be made out of a school locker filled with all his trophies. And it also turns out to be booby-trapped? Well, at least the episode's living up to its namesake. Mo manages to get the jockstrap and, oh god, it still has a crotch rot stain on it. Gross! Hitch manages to get a hold of it, and suddenly he's possessed by the ghost of Crazy Legs. He can dunk, he can hit, he can duck walk, hell, he can even moonwalk. He's got all the cultural references you could ever possess in just one simple piece of underwire. Just like Crazy Legs, Hitch kicks everyone's patooties at basketball, baseball, even big wheel racing. Unfortunately, it also makes him an overpowered tool bag. It was said in the article that Mimi read that Crazy Legs died alone, and that was because with his jockstrap he became such a stuck-up old asshole that he eventually turned everyone against him. And that's really the big issue of having so much success. You become so cocky, so arrogant, and so invincible that everyone around you becomes fed up with you, and then they don't want anything to do with you. It's like why people get sick of the Patriots and John Cena and Bite Force winning all the time. Give someone else a chance to win, Mr. Jock Itch. The episode's climax sees Hitch becoming the sole player on the football team while his teammates warm the bench. I'd argue the legality of this, but then again, the opposing team only has 5 players.
Are those girly guys all you got? Where's your real team?
It's up to Mo to finally get his friend back to normal.
Hey, Hitch!
What? Oh, get it off! It's on me! Oh, get it away! Oh!
One back to normal Hitch coming up. Cream style.
You're awesome, Mo. I can't believe you got Hitch to listen to reason.
Forget reason. I had to hit him where he lives. I told him Crazy Legs' lucky Jock was cursed, with the worst case of Jock Itch known to mankind.
I would have just told him he had crabs. So Mo saves Hitch, but then Hitch gets run over and killed by the other team, so he wasn't actually saved. Good job, Mo. Great babyface you turned out to be. So Mo and Mimi take the jockstrap back to the cemetery, and Mimi cremates it with a blowtorch and...
Get thee back to the depths of the locker room, oh foul winning spirit!
Holy crap, it's the spider ghost thing from Poltergeist. That's actually pretty horrifying. And the episode ends with Mo doing a little computer presentation where he gives a history related to the events happening in the episode. It's kind of like a Mo vlog in a way. But then we get this.
In the future, contestants will be nothing but equipment. Robots, remote controlled by completely out-of-shape couch potatoes. Scary thought, huh?
Are you referring to us robots as couch potatoes? Huh, I resemble that remark. And that was Moeville Mysteries, Raiders of the Lost Jockstrap. How does it hold up? Some people like to call this show the prototype to Gravity Falls, and I can see that. You have a group of kids living in a weird town where crazy supernatural things happen, and it's up to them to stop all the weird doings and make things right. When you're making a show like this, you have to make a good first impression. And unfortunately, this first episode doesn't quite hit the mark. It has a lot of cultural references and plot points you can see coming a mile away. Heck, even the title is a giant reference. As far as characters go, Mo is likable, but his character design definitely takes a bit getting used to. Hitch can get annoying, and Mimi is just forgettable for the most part. But that's not to say the rest of the show is bad. I've skimmed through some episodes here and there, and there are some moments that are quite frightening and often terrifying. And some that are downright weird. My particular favorite is an episode titled The Novelty Kid. Yeah, if I didn't decide to go with a rock and roll gimmick for my show, that would have been my gimmick. Say, does anybody want a novelty golden dumpster? Oh shit, I think the paint's peeling off. So the episode revolves around some dude named Norman who tries conning his fellow classmates out of money with novelty merch, like voodoo heads and soldiers that are said to come to life. At first he does good business, until everyone discovers that they're just cheap knockoffs. But then, the episode ends with a total small soldiers climax, where all the novelty items suddenly start coming to life and chase him down. And then Norman gets sucked up into a comic book where he remains as a slave boy. Yeah, I told you the show gets weird. Hell, that's almost as messed up as when the Nickelodeon Twitter referred to Lincoln Loud as a goth e-boy. Do you even know what an e-boy is, Nickelodeon? Sadly, Frankie Muniz announced in a recent interview that he suffers from short-term memory loss and doesn't remember starring in a lot of the shows and movies he was in as a kid. And I'm sure Moeville Mysteries is one of them. It's just a shame the show was canceled before it could find its footing. And as far as owning the series on DVD, well, I only found one, and it has 3 episodes on it. The Telltale Recliner, The Good Old Days, and How Now, Meowing Cow. But they're definitely pretty good, and I'd recommend buying it if you can find it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Stay tuned at Halloween time where I review another spooky movie starring a trio of high-voiced creatures. And no, it's not Night of the Living Fred. Peace out.
Awesome!